Have you ever asked yourself why some people seem to create wealth with ease while others struggle their whole lives? Is financial freedom just about money? Or is it about mindset? If you're curious, you're in the right place. Today, we're unlocking Jim Rohn's timeless principles for achieving financial freedom through self-improvement. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button because the ideas you're about to hear could change the way you look at money, growth, and freedom forever. 1. The freedom mindset. Jim Rohn often said that success isn't something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. This statement, while simple on the surface, reveals a profound truth about the nature of freedom and prosperity. Too often, people chase money, titles, or possessions without ever realizing that true freedom begins internally. If your thoughts, habits, and choices are shaped by scarcity or fear, then no amount of wealth will keep you free. You'll still be trapped by your own mindset. Financial freedom, therefore, begins not with dollars, but with discipline. It starts with the decision to stop living by default and start living by design. Living by default means waking up each day reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. It means allowing outside forces, society, advertising, peer pressure, even past failures, to dictate how you think and what you do. Living by design, however, is intentional. It requires stepping back and asking yourself, am I truly creating the life I want, or am I merely drifting along in the life handed to me? This distinction marks the starting line of the freedom mindset. Ask yourself, am I the kind of person wealth is attracted to? This isn't about arrogance, nor is it about luck. It's about developing the personal qualities, discipline, consistency, vision, and resilience that naturally draw opportunities and prosperity. Imagine money as a magnet. It is drawn toward clarity, confidence, and responsibility. If you are careless, impulsive, or aimless, then even if money comes, it will not stay. But if you cultivate stability, wisdom, and self-control, wealth begins to stick to you because you have created a container capable of holding it. This shift in thinking transforms everything. Instead of chasing quick gains, you begin to focus on building long-term character. Instead of spending impulsively, you choose to delay gratification because you know freedom tastes better than fleeting pleasure. Instead of fearing failure, you embrace it as feedback because growth is more important than temporary discomfort. The freedom mindset reframes how you see yourself in relation to money. You're no longer a servant chasing it. You become a leader capable of attracting it. Rohn often compared personal development to farming. You cannot control the seasons, the rain, or the soil, but you can control what seeds you plant and how diligently you cultivate them. Freedom works the same way. You cannot control the economy, inflation, or global markets, but you can control your habits, your skills, and your mindset. The freedom mindset recognizes this truth and chooses to focus on what can be controlled, leaving worry behind. Ultimately, freedom is not only financial, it is mental and spiritual. The person who is free in thought, who is not enslaved by fear, jealousy, or comparison, is already wealthy long before the dollars show up. The greatest return on investment is not the percentage earned on a portfolio, but the compounding effect of a mind disciplined to think clearly, act wisely, and persist consistently. When you shift your mindset, you begin shifting your destiny. And when you shift your destiny, you become the kind of person success can't help but follow. 2. Breaking the chains of debt. Debt isn't just a financial burden. It's an emotional chain that keeps you tied to fear, stress, and limitation. Many people underestimate the true cost of debt. They see only the monthly payments, the interest rates, or the running balance. But beneath those numbers lies something far deeper, a loss of freedom. Every dollar owed is a piece of your future that has already been sold. And when your future is mortgaged, your present is filled with anxiety. Rohn reminded us that freedom requires responsibility. Debt is often born out of a lack of responsibility, spending beyond our means, confusing wants with needs, or allowing impulse to override intention. Breaking free from debt, therefore, is not merely about financial restructuring, it is about personal transformation. You must take control of your spending before you can ever take control of your wealth. Until you learn to tell yourself no, the world will keep saying bye. Every dollar saved is a soldier freed to fight for your future. Picture your money as an army. When it is trapped in debt payments, it is enslaved to someone else's cause, working tirelessly for the bank or the lender. But when you free it, when you redirect it toward investments, savings, or business growth, those dollars begin to march on your behalf. They defend your financial stability, they conquer new opportunities, and they multiply into resources that can sustain your family and your dreams. Breaking the chains of debt requires sacrifice, but sacrifice is never a loss. It is an exchange. By cutting unnecessary expenses, you are not depriving yourself. You are buying back your freedom. By living with intention, you are not restricting your life. You are expanding your future possibilities. Freedom is always on the other side of discipline. And this discipline is not about punishment. It is about empowerment. Each wise choice you make builds momentum. Each debt you pay down is a victory. Each temptation you resist strengthens your financial muscles. Living without debt also brings an immeasurable peace of mind. Imagine waking up each morning without the weight of overdue bills pressing against your thoughts. Imagine choosing opportunities not out of desperation, but out of genuine alignment with your goals. Imagine being able to give, save, and invest without hesitation. This is what it means to live unchained. Debt-free living is not just about numbers, it is about options. It is about having the power to say yes or no without fear of financial collapse. But to get there, you must embrace patience. The road out of debt may not be quick. It may require months or even years of diligence. Yet every step forward is progress, and progress compounds. The key is persistence. As Rohn said, discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. Carry the lighter burden now, and you'll avoid the crushing weight later. Debt may feel like a prison, but the key has always been in your pocket: responsibility, discipline, and intentional living. Use it, and you'll unlock not just your finances, but your very life. Refuse to let debt dictate your choices, your opportunities, or your dreams. Your freedom is worth more than anything you could ever purchase on credit. Break the chains, reclaim your power, and walk boldly into a life of independence. 3. Learning to multiply money. Money doesn't grow because you work harder. It grows because you work smarter. The hours in a day are limited, and no matter how strong or determined you are, you cannot create more time. This means that wealth cannot be built on effort alone. It must be built on leverage, on systems, investments, and opportunities that allow your money to work even when you are not. Rohn emphasized the power of learning, investing, and compounding. Learning is the foundation, because without knowledge, even the best opportunities will be wasted. Investing is the application, because knowledge without action produces no results. And compounding is the multiplier, because time turns small beginnings into extraordinary outcomes. Wealth comes from planting seeds, nurturing them, and letting time do its magic. Just as a farmer does not dig up the soil every day to check on the seed, the wise investor does not panic at every fluctuation. They trust the process, knowing that growth takes time. When you develop yourself, you'll see opportunities everywhere. The untrained mind sees only obstacles, but the prepared mind sees potential. Suddenly, you recognize investments that others overlook. You notice skills you can sharpen that will increase your value in the marketplace. You find partnerships and collaborations that multiply your impact and your income. The world doesn't change. The lens through which you see it does. Multiplying money also requires shifting from consumer to producer. Most people spend their lives buying what others create, but the wealthy focus on creating what others will buy. Instead of asking, "What can I get?" they ask, "What can I give that will create value?" This mindset creates streams of income because when you serve enough people, money begins to flow toward you naturally. Rohn often reminded us that success is simple but not easy. Multiplying money is not about gambling, shortcuts, or luck. It is about consistency and principle. It's about making wise choices today that ripple into greater rewards tomorrow. The small amount invested now, the book you read today, the skill you practice daily, all of these seem insignificant in the moment, but over years, they compound into mastery and abundance. The principle of compounding extends beyond money. It applies to knowledge, habits, and relationships. Every act of learning compounds your wisdom. Every act of discipline compounds your character. Every connection nurtured compounds your influence. Money, then, is only one reflection of the greater truth. Growth multiplies when it is consistent, intentional, and patient. Ultimately, multiplying money is about multiplying yourself. The wealth you build will never exceed the value you bring to the world. This is why Rohn placed such emphasis on personal development. If you want more, you must become more. Build your skills, refine your mindset, sharpen your discipline, and expand your vision. When you do, you won't just multiply money, you'll multiply opportunities, impact, and freedom. Wealth is not a sprint, it is a long-distance journey. But every journey is made possible by consistent steps in the right direction. Learn, invest, and allow compounding to work in your favor. Let your money become a loyal servant, multiplying quietly in the background while you continue to grow into the person capable of stewarding abundance. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary prosperity, not by working endlessly, but by working wisely and letting time amplify their efforts.
4. Wealth with purpose. But here's the truth. Money without meaning is empty. Rohn believed that wealth is best used as a tool, not a trophy. To him, the accumulation of money for the sake of status was one of the greatest traps of modern life. A trophy sits on a shelf and gathers dust, admired by some but doing nothing to actively improve life. A tool, on the other hand, serves a function. It builds, repairs, creates, and empowers. Wealth, when used as a tool, becomes a means of crafting a better life for oneself and others. It is not the final destination, but a resource that allows us to travel further, to dream bigger, and to give back more. Without that deeper purpose, even the most impressive fortune eventually feels hollow. As countless wealthy individuals have discovered too late, comfort without contribution quickly turns into complacency. The joy of wealth comes not in having, but in doing something worthwhile with what you have. The purpose of financial freedom isn't just to buy more things, it's to live more fully, give more generously, and contribute more meaningfully. True prosperity extends beyond material possessions and into the richness of life experiences. Having the means to travel, to pursue passions, to support loved ones, or to dedicate time to causes that matter, that is the real fruit of financial success. When money simply fuels consumption, it creates an endless cycle of wanting more, never reaching satisfaction. But when it fuels growth, love, creativity, and impact, money transforms from mere currency into a force for good. Rohn often emphasized that money will magnify who you already are. If you are selfish, it will make you more selfish. If you are generous, it will amplify your generosity. Financial freedom gives you options, but whether those options lead to meaning depends entirely on the purpose you attach to them. This is why wealth with purpose requires discipline, vision, and values. It is easy to mistake accumulation for achievement, but the two are not the same. Achievements rooted in values endure. They ripple outward into the lives of others. Accumulation without vision fades quickly, often leaving people restless and searching for the next acquisition. Consider the difference between someone who uses their financial resources to establish a scholarship, fund community initiatives, or help a struggling family, versus someone who buys their third luxury car to impress neighbors. One path leaves a legacy that continues long after the person is gone. The other fades with the next model release. Wealth becomes purposeful when it stops being only about me and begins to consider we. True prosperity isn't measured by what you keep. It's measured by what you share. This sharing doesn't only mean charitable giving in the traditional sense. It can mean sharing knowledge, creating opportunities, or investing in someone's potential. When you help another person rise, you not only give them dignity and hope, but you also multiply the impact of your own success. There is a profound joy in seeing your resources, whether time, money, or skills, turn into something that uplifts others. That joy is far greater than the temporary thrill of acquisition. Wealth with purpose recognizes that the ultimate scorecard of life is not net worth, but lives touched. Not possessions displayed, but hearts moved. Not titles acquired, but legacies left. Rohn's philosophy invites us to ask ourselves a simple but powerful question. What will my wealth be remembered for? If the answer points toward meaning, service, and love, then money has fulfilled its highest calling. 5. The true meaning of freedom. At the core, financial freedom is about choice. It is not merely the absence of debt or the possession of a large bank account. It is the ability to design a life that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. Freedom, in this sense, is not abstract. It is profoundly practical. It means you can choose where to live, the work you do, and how you spend your most precious resource, time. The person who works endlessly at a job they despise, no matter how high the paycheck, is not free. The person who earns modestly but lives authentically, in line with their values and desires, often experiences a truer sense of liberation. Financial freedom is the lever that allows you to shift life from have to get to. You no longer work only to survive. You work, create, and contribute because you choose to. It's the power to live life on your terms. It's waking up each day and deciding how you'll spend your time, who you'll spend it with, and what kind of impact you'll make. This is why freedom is so deeply personal. For some, it might mean the ability to travel the world without restriction. For others, it may mean having the flexibility to spend more time with family, to pursue creative passions, or to serve their community. The essence of freedom lies not in grand gestures, but in small, daily choices. The freedom to read to your children at night instead of staying late at the office. The freedom to say no to projects that compromise your integrity. The freedom to give generously to causes you believe in without worrying about your own survival. Each of these represents a life lived with agency, rather than one dictated by necessity or fear. Rohn taught that real freedom doesn't come from escaping responsibility, it comes from mastering it. Many people mistakenly view freedom as a life free from obligations, a carefree existence where nothing is required of them. Yet such a life rarely brings fulfillment. The absence of responsibility often leads to emptiness. True freedom, as Rohn explained, is found in the balance between autonomy and responsibility. It is not about discarding obligations, but about choosing them wisely. When you are financially free, you gain the power to take on responsibilities that matter, caring for your family, building meaningful work, serving your community without being crushed by those that don't. Responsibility, when aligned with purpose, becomes a source of strength rather than a burden. In mastering responsibility, we also master ourselves. Freedom requires discipline, the discipline to live below your means, to invest wisely,
to set boundaries, and to remain focused on what truly matters. Without discipline, freedom quickly slips into chaos. Think of those who win sudden fortunes, only to squander them, ending up in worse situations than before. Their freedom was real, but it was fleeting because they lacked mastery. By contrast, those who patiently build, manage, and steward their resources can sustain their freedom for a lifetime. They do not live in fear of loss because their foundation rests not only on money, but on character and wisdom. The true meaning of freedom, then, is not indulgence, but intentionality. It is not the abandonment of responsibility, but the conscious selection of it. It is not about being answerable to no one, but about choosing to be answerable to the right things: your values, your purpose, your loved ones, and your vision for a better life. In this way, freedom is both an inner state and an outer reality. It begins with the mind, the freedom to think, to imagine, to believe in possibilities, and extends outward into choices, habits, and actions. When we align our financial resources with this vision, we experience freedom, not just as comfort, but as power. The power to live fully, to give boldly, and to leave a mark on the world that could never be made if we had remained trapped by necessity.
So, here's the big question. Are you ready to commit to becoming the kind of person that financial freedom is drawn to? Remember, build the mindset. Break the chains. Multiply your money. Use wealth with purpose. And above all, pursue true freedom. If you found value in this message, hit that subscribe button and join us for more insights on self-improvement, success, and freedom. Because your journey to financial freedom doesn't start tomorrow. It starts now.